Hello, mentors. This is an overview of the best times. So meeting 4, February 2nd. Remember, this will be online as well. Both Monday coaching online and Wednesday meeting also online. It has 2 parts. The first one is called How Much to Wait, and we'll be doing this using a platform called Desmos Teacher. And second, Quad Squad, if you have time, is a fun little game of categorizing in non-obvious ways. So let's get started into the agenda. So the first activity is expected to have 30 minutes, a maximum of 35 minutes. And the goal here is to practice how to compute probabilities, how to interpret data, how to make good evidence-based decisions by balancing things. So it's gonna be a real life situation, with waiting times, and kids need to make decisions based on the math, but also, real life variables or how they view things. So there's not a unique answer for many of these problems, so it involves interesting discussions. During coaching, we'll do 1.2, engage all students. The second part is Quad Squad, so it's a word game in which players need to give clues that have other players make non-obvious choices from a board with 4 options. And so this will be played using a website, and you can play several rounds. Time management tips in part 1, don't spend all the time computing probabilities because there's going to be many, many different things. So move on to the chart and the graphs parts quite fast. The second tip is having played the game beforehand, the Quad Squad game, really helps when you explain the rules. And so this game actually 20 minutes, and as usual, try to set an alarm at 2:50, take for 5 more minutes to finish the game, and then talk to your students during the last 5 minutes, or sometimes a little less, but don't be caught by surprise. Really, have a plan to finish the meeting. Let's get into a little more detail, especially this meeting is going to be special because we're going to use Desmos Teacher. And so let's click on this big link right here. Do not share that link with students. And that will have you open an account in Desmos, in Desmos Teacher. You click here, assign single session code, and then we will be doing for example, 2 weeks, that would be good, create invite code, and then you click on this student link, and this is the link that you will be sharing to students. So it's student.desmos.com, join, and then some code that will depend on your computer or on your account. So let's copy this link. And then what students will see once you give them that link, and here you can preview, it's the student workbook in an interactive way. So for this part of the meeting, you will not be needing the student workbook. It's enough to do this in Desmos. So there's many nice little things here to be done. So you can, for example, here, right here in this part, right, of course, like what would you do with the buses? Then you can write your answer here, and you can share with the class. So that's nice. You can then navigate here, and it's gonna be a little simulation about where to wait, for the bus to come. So for example, if I'm a student, I could wait, maybe start at 7:40, come to the station if I really want to make sure I get on time. Or if I'm pretty risky, then 9 o'clock, that's just 1/3 of arriving in time. You'll see when you read the actual situation. And then, you can do all other things. You can, simulate probabilities. Here, we're just looking for, of all these 9 situations of the buses, which of these 9 actually get you on time when you have 2 buses, and you'll find that it's 5 of 9. So you get the probability is 5 out of 9, which is 5/9. You can then say that it's about 55% or so. So this is a grid, a very nice visual model that you will be using during the meeting. And the cool part here is that students will be moving these check marks, and then they make sense of the situation. And then there's other types of things that we'll be doing. For instance, predicting probabilities here. So they may predict that the probability just goes up maybe by 10. And then in the next screen, they will actually look at the right answer and just say, how does it compare to your original graph? So Desmos goes step by step. and then you can check and then move on to the next. So it's very focused on that regard. You want to give a lot of time for students to think about the problems and then look at the solutions and build from there. So instead of just explaining, you look at what students have done, maybe press them a little bit, and then just, relate all the solutions, explain a little bit more, give a little more time, and etc. So this is the Desmos activity. Let's go back to the teaching manual and quickly talk about the game. So that was part one. This is how much to wait. I repeat, you don't really need a student workbook. We have one for reference just in case one student cannot join, but the idea is to use Desmos Teacher. Okay, so the next part is the game Quad Squad. So this is a game that each player goal is to come up with hard to classify prompts that send other players to the four corners of an alignment chart. Let's look at an example. Let's say I am the one giving the clues to students, and then I have popular versus non-popular and cold versus hot. So let's say I give this clue eggnog, which is really hard to see if it's popular or non-popular. And also for hot and cold, it's not 100% clear if people like it hot or cold. Probably more people like it cold, I don't know, it will depend on your table. And let's say that other players, they just voted for one of these four corners. So there's always gonna be a grid, like a 2x2, and your other players will vote for eggnog. Where should it be? For example, the first player here voted for popular and cold, the second also, and then the others did some. So you would get, in this example, 3 points because you activated 3 out of the 4 corners on your chart. So you were good, 75% good, but not too good. Let's say you had said, like, for example, hot coffee. Well, hot coffee, it's pretty popular and it's obviously hot, so you would only be getting 1 point. Very, very obvious. So this is not a straightforward game, especially giving clues can be a little hard, but you will be challenged as mentors and also students will be charged. So that's the meeting. Enjoy a lot. And, to use Desmos, we'll be doing some, heavy and good training during the coaching session. But we also expect you guys to go to probably Tuesday office hours if you want to practice more. So this meeting, you really want to practice your Desmos. It's very easy to navigate, but it needs just some practice so that you get better at it. Enjoy.